It's time now to show you the College Football Playoff Top 25, the exclusive unveiling brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Cincinnati moves into the rankings at number 25. A little bit surprised to see NC State, after losing to BC, still in the rankings.
But important for Clemson. I mean, Clemson still, I know we've written them off a little bit, but they're still a one-loss team that's going to be in the rankings, so that's a big deal for Clemson.
And Oregon State, if you're looking at USC, perhaps in there at number 23, Kirk.
Yeah, I think it's fun to look at these rankings near the bottom. You know, we talk about this every week, but it's a big deal for Cincinnati. It came up back, won a close one last week. Just to get up in the top 25, Oregon State, job Jonathan Smith is doing, and put another Pac-12 team up there. So congrats to those teams. Now we'll see if they can stay up there and keep climbing.
Body of work thing, Oklahoma State's back in. The Cowboys haven't been playing great. They've got Bedlam coming up. Let's go to the next group of rankings, looking at number 20, UCF, who won at Tulane, will be the highest ranked team out of the group of 5, and Florida State and Notre Dame sitting there at 19-18, Joe.
Yeah, Notre Dame continues to climb. That win is looking a lot better as the season goes on, as they're playing much better football now for teams like Ohio State. And I want to see UCLA, because the Pac-12 and the strength of that conference, we see UCLA at 16, Washington at 17. Washington was 25th last week. Now they're up to 17th, a huge jump, and it means a lot in the Pac-12.
A lot has to happen, but there's still a possibility of a 5-way tie in the Pac-12, by the way. So
Bring it. Let's go.
So Washington is not finished, but they have to have everything go just right down the stretch to get into the Pac-12 championship game. UCLA really hurt itself with that loss against Arizona. They have the Trojans this week. Let's keep on with the rankings, looking at number 15 up to number 11. Kansas State, really impressive performance last week at Baylor. They're number 15. They are on track to face TCU again in the Big 12 championship game. They had a big lead in that game in the regular season, Kirk.
Yeah, it's an impressive win this past week. It is setting up for a showdown there at AT&T Stadium. And how about old Mac Brown, boys, with Drake May?
Yeah, Mackie
up there
Brown.
in the top 13.
Yep.
Daring the dream, boys. They're daring the dream. Potentially a heck of a showdown in Charlotte if they keep going with North Carolina and Clemson for the ACC championship.
And North Carolina is that one outlier team that is way down in the rankings that you'd have to evaluate them fully. If they win out, they've still got a game against NC State to play. Of course, it'll be a tough game against a ranked opponent. And then, of course, the ACC championship.
If they just didn't have to put their defense on the field and just play offense the whole time, I think they would be a lot higher. But they've struggled, obviously, to stop.
Okay, so Penn State is 11, Oregon 12 after the home loss against Washington. Now let's look at number 10. At number 10, Utah. Now, Utah is at Oregon, too. They're trying to work their way into the Pac-12 championship game, so they're up 3 spots. Almost like a lot of different things have to happen, but it feels like it could be Pac-12 semifinals this weekend with Utah, Oregon, SC, UCLA.
Yeah, that looked like a lot more fun before last weekend when Oregon went down, UCLA went down. So those are still big games, but it really hurt the Pac-12 and their chances to get into the top 4 later on.
1 spot ahead of the Utes at number 9. Clemson moves up a spot.
Makes sense.
Still a little bit back. You've had teams fall behind, so it wasn't necessarily, Clemson, it was a good win against a hot Louisville team on Saturday.
And I think that's where you can draw the line and start saying now everybody's got a chance to be in the college football playoff. I think 9 is the spot right there. Here on
you mean
up.
the line below Clemson?
Correct. The line below Clemson, I think you're pretty much out of the playoffs. But now I think all these teams are I'm not saying they're like having a high percentage, but they're all still alive.
Oh, and North Carolina still alive?
Yeah.
Maybe. Close.
Maybe.
We'll see. At number 8, have a lot. This has been a weird season, so you never know. Number 8, Alabama moves up a spot after escaping against Ole Miss. Now, that would be the exception.
That would be the exception, and I don't know why they're there.
Two losses on the last play of the game, and the committee thinks they're better than Clemson.
I got you 2 losses
also,
on the last play of the game.
Also 3 plays away from being 5-5. I got it.
And
fair enough.
I don't agree with that. Do you? I think they should be behind Clemson.
I don't mind them being in front of Clemson. I think that they're a better football team than Clemson. And I don't mind that they're, with the 2 losses. I don't think they're in the conversation to get into the playoff. But being ranked at number 8, I have no problem with that.
Okay, 8 through 25, as we've seen that. Now, Kirk, what's your reaction to what you've seen so far? Anything that surprised you or stuck out?
Nothing really. I mean, like we were talking about as we were getting down in the top 15, there's some teams that stand out that are having great years. But, everybody's tuned in right now after that lengthy double overtime game. I thought we might get a third overtime, but I think everybody's tuned in now just to see what's going to happen here with the top 6. I'm not really jumping up and down one way or another. Alabama lost on a last-second field goal in one of the most hostile environments in the country at Tennessee, and a 2-point conversion in overtime to LSU. So, I don't think you can really hold that. Those are two hard environments, and it went down to the last play.
I do think it might say something about where Clemson will be if they are in the mix at the end as the ACC champion with only one loss, how they might be regarded right now. Now, maybe they move ahead of Alabama, but there's a lot of teams for them to hop over if that were to be the case.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.